What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, and I'm back with another video, man, and you already know what I need you to do, man. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell, because it does go a long way with helping out the channel. If this is your first time, man, welcome to Hold My Nuts Podcast. It's a pleasure and honor to have you tuning in. If you clicked on this video, I already know what you're looking for. It's what we've all been looking for. We're trying to elevate and become better men. If you already been rocking with your boy, man, you already know the love is real, man. You know how we get down. And so I want to salute everyone, tuning in, man. So let's get right into this video, man. I get a lot of questions about this, how to quit your 9-to-5 job. So today's video is how to quit your 9-to-5 job on SR. All right. So the first thing you want to understand is you got to have a plan. You can't just willy-nilly quit your job. If you have obligations, you got bills, you got families, you got kids, you can't just quit your job, man. Especially if you don't have a plan in place. You can't just quit your job because you have responsibilities that you're responsible for. All right, so before you decide to quit your job and walk away because you don't like the conditions, you don't like everything that's going on, and these people are driving you crazy, you can't just walk away. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Before you even decide that you want to quit your job and you want to walk away, you want to do whatever you think it is that you want to do in life, you need to make sure that you've been practicing your semen retention. Because if you're doing this for the first time, you're just getting started and you haven't got a grip on, abstraining from the lust, the temptation, you still fapping, you still watching porn, you don't have that discipline built in, and you're gonna fail. So I wouldn't even attempt to quit your job at this moment if you haven't really been going in on semen retention and you haven't really been experiencing the benefits and understand what's really going on in this regard. Give yourself some more time before you try to go and do something like this, because semen retention, if you've really been going at it, it's going to give you that cognitive mind. It's going to give you the calmness. It's going to stabilize your emotions. It's going to help you think clear. You're going to have more energy to be able to do what you need to do after you quit your job. You're not going to be wasting time watching porn, because that time is going to be valuable for you to accelerate your next business venture, whatever it is you're trying to do career-wise. So if you're not practicing semen retention, I would not advise you quit your job. So with that being said, when you quit your job, when you decide to quit your job, you have to answer this question. If I quit this job, how long from the time I get my last paycheck, how long will it be before all of my bills are past due, the repo man is coming to get my stuff, I'm getting kicked out of my apartment, or my mortgage is about to go into default, my car is about to be repo? How long will it take for those things to manifest from the time you get your last paycheck? If it's 1 month, don't quit your job. If it's 2 months, don't quit your job. If it's 3 months, do not quit your job. If it's 4 months, do not quit your job. If it's 5 months, do not quit your job. If it's 6 months, you can quit your job. But just make sure that when you quit your job, you hit the ground running. Because the next question that you're going to have to ask yourself is, when I quit this job, you have to really understand in your mind, how long will it be before I make my first dollar? You have to project that. You have to estimate that. Will it be 2 months before I make my first buck? Will it be 3 months before I make my first dollar? Will it be 4 months, 5 months, 6? If it's 6 months before you make your first buck, don't quit your job, because that's too close to the line. If it's 5 months, that's still close to the line. I probably wouldn't quit my job. If it's 3 months, I say, okay, that still gives us 3 months of cushion. But anything less than 3, you have the ability to quit your job, because you're making money right away from the time you leave the gig. Okay, so whether that's starting a new gig, but this is specifically for people who are trying to not have a 9-to-5. They're trying to start their own business. They're trying to work for themselves. You have to make your first buck within 3 months of quitting your job. And you got to have at least 6 months in reserves before somebody tries to come take your home, kick you out of your home. Somebody tries to come take your car, your credit card's going to default, and you deplete your savings, right? So how long will it be before I need money, before these people come and take all my stuff after I get my last paycheck? And when I do make this decision to quit my job, how fast, how soon will I get my first dollar from whatever it is I'm going to be doing next? Okay, that's what you want to figure out. And then when you have those two questions answered, then you got to piece in the other parts of your plan. Okay, How much money do I have saved? What can I cut back on? Okay, and then you're gonna have to have these conversations with, if you're married, you're gonna have to have these conversations with your spouse. If it's yourself, then you don't really have to worry about anything like that. You know how you get down, you know how your finances work, and then you can figure it out. You can scale back. No one else is gonna be impacted by that. But if you got kids and stuff like that, these are things that you're gonna have to consider. You can't just quit your job without having a plan just because you don't like the conditions that you're working in, or and things of that nature. 1 second, guys. I'm doing a video. It's my daughter. Yeah, so you want to make sure you have a plan and something that you can look at. I read a book a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago, and this book was written by, actually, I don't know. I got this book. It was a very small book, but when it comes to making tough decisions, it said to ask yourself these 3 questions. The first question is, what's the worst that can happen? If you quit your job, what's the worst that can happen? You write it out. What's the best that can happen? You write it out. And what is most likely to happen? And you write that out. When you look at those 3 questions and you survey those 3 questions, if what's the worst that can happen, if whatever you write out for what's the worst that can happen, if you cannot live with that, if you can't live with that, then you don't make that decision. You do not make that decision because it's too risky. So when you write these 3 questions out, what's the best that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? What's most likely to happen? The most important question within those 3 is, what's the worst that can happen? If you know for sure that if that were to happen and you could not live with that, then do not make that decision. You have to hold on a little while longer until that question and the answer to that question can change. Do not quit if what you're doing, if the worst that can happen, you're not going to be able to live with that. Do not quit. Do not make that decision. Don't make that decision, guys, because you're going to put yourself in a real tough situation. And I don't want you to make a bad decision and end up having to live with something that you knew from the outset that you couldn't live with. All right. Now, if it's something that you can live with, if it's the worst that can happen and you can live with that and you know this, then you got to take that plunge. Like Steve Harvey said, you got to jump out of that plane. The parachute might not open, but before you crash to that ground, we have faith that that thing gonna open up and you're gonna be able to do what you need to do. Right? But the key thing in this, guys, is not to let fear grip you. And fear will dissipate if you have a plan. Fear comes in and magnifies itself when you do things and you do not have a plan. Semen retention will give you all the other necessary things you need in order to see this plan through, because you're going to need energy, you're going to need clear thoughts, you're going to need hormonal balance, you're going to need all these things that you're going to get from semen retention, and you're going to need intense focus. So make sure that you do these steps that I put in this video and you know exactly what it is. You have a real robust plan and you work that plan. And if you at the end of the day feel like this is something that you should do and you can do and you can live with what's the worst that can happen, go ahead and make your dreams come true. Make your dreams come true. And you will succeed, brothers. I know you will succeed because I know the type of people you are. I know the type of men you are, just from the simple fact that you're looking for semen retention videos and you're trying to get away from the world system. I love y'all, guys. It's a short video today, but I hope you get the message. Hold My Nuts Podcast, like and subscribe, and I'm going to holler at y'all in the next video. Oh, and if you see me wearing the same clothes, it's because I did 2 videos in one day. I love y'all. Peace. I'm out.